Warner Brothers is exploding all over the place, from new Scooby-Doo and Superman interactive events to re-releases of fan favorites like Speed Racer and The Matrix in new formats. And just today, it was announced we're getting a Dolby re-release of Space Jam for its 30th anniversary. So of course you realize this means podcast.
Are you ready, eager young space cadets? Meep, meep. I saw a potent
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Jinkies, we are getting overwhelmed. The monsters came to life and are causing chaos all over the back lot.
Hello and welcome to Of Course You Realize This Means podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Graves, and with me today is someone who loves theme parks as much as I love Looney Tunes. It is my wife and theme park aficionado and immersive experiences travel journalist, and you know her work from Gizmodo, IO9, Nerdist, and Nerds of Color, Sabina Graves. Sabina, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back. It's been a while.
It's been a week. And
week.
also, we are still on the high of the Coyote vs. Acme trailer, still watching it every day. And we are actually 4 months out of it debuting in theaters and blowing people's minds. I cannot wait to watch that movie with you and our daughter. But before we can do that, we have taken our daughter on a journey.
She has gone on so many journeys.
And one that she will most likely forget because she is less than 2 years old. But
I mean, I don't know if she'll make us forget waiting for over 40 minutes for Scooby-Doo.
This is true. Yeah, but she loves Scooby-Doo.
She loves Scooby-Doo.
So before we get into all of that, we wanted to kind of touch on some other things that are happening in the world of Warner Brothers and how they tie into the animation world and so on and so forth. But starting off, the Wachowskis are having their movies in redone, remastered in 4K and in an immersive setting through IMAX, taking on Speed Racer, and the Cosm in Dallas and Los Angeles taking on The Matrix, and presenting these movies as audiences have never seen them before. They are thrilling. They are vibrant. They are in your face with really cool ideas and things that were happening back in the day whenever they were making these movies, and now they're more relevant now.
Very much so relevant now with the Wachowskis.
Yes, it was like they were way ahead of their time, and now time is caught up, technology is caught up, and now we're just able to immerse ourselves within those worlds. So we saw Speed Racer in IMAX with the 4K presentation, and holy
Bananas.
cow. Yeah, cool beans indeed. There were cool beans everywhere. Flying past us, like, you know, the way that they shot with green screen and blue screen back in 2007 as it came out in 2008. Audiences weren't prepared for that kind of thing, and it's like a masterful guideline to progressive transitions with the floating heads passing by and endless tracks and cars zooming and incredible sound effects and kung fu and spies. It's got everything.
Oh, definitely. We recently had one of our friends, Chris, who talked to us about writing something in the style of like anime in a live action setting. And before we saw the movie, we were told this sort of idea, and I didn't know how to visualize it until we rewatched Speed Racer. And it just goes to show how ahead of its time this movie was, specifically in the sequence when they're in that peak, in that mountain peak.
Yeah.
It was giving One Piece. It was giving, you know, obviously Speed Racer predates One Piece.
Well, you even said, like, whenever you were watching it, you were like, I hope the showrunners for One Piece watch this before they even get into the more cartoony aspects
for the
of
live action,
that adaptation.
Because we have friends who have followed One Piece religiously since it started, and we've seen where it goes. I mean, we had our friend Danny, friend of the podcast, share with Jonathan a few years back, listeners, if you'll remember, that clip that was directly inspired by Looney Tunes.
Yeah, and Tom and Jerry. They really went for a elastic approach to the character, and he's able to, become a cartoon, if you will. And so that being translated
to live action is going to be a really big challenge as the show gets more and more crazy. And so rewatching the Speed Racer run, I was like, okay, this is how they can do it for sure.
Yes, and it was so successful that they actually expanded the dates. And as soon as this hits, check your local Fandango listings because it may still be playing. I hope it is, and if you haven't seen it, I highly, highly recommend getting out to see it in the IMAX. It really makes the film feel much bigger than you've ever experienced it on a television. And yeah, the 4K remaster is incredible. The sound is incredible. And the 4K is actually coming out in May. It's coming out in the middle of May.
So if you miss the screening, if you catch our podcast after the day goes up, you might be out of luck seeing it in the theater. But the 4K is coming out in May.
Yeah, and I really urge Warner Brothers to take a look at the numbers and see if it's beneficial to put it back out after this initial run of it in IMAX, because it is masterful to watch. If you're like me and you want to wear your fandom on your sleeve, then head over to Threadheads. They are doing incredible work over there with unique designs and in-house graphic artists utilizing the Looney Tunes characters like never before. Through our collaboration with the podcast, we're able to offer you, dear listener, 20% off using the special link located at threadheads.com/thismeanspodcast 86471. Utilize this for all of your Looney Tune needs because they have not only Space Jam eccentric attire, but also just new Looney Tune styles featuring Wile E. Coyote. And in case you want that Acme hat for Coyote versus Acme, there's that too. And also they have Yosemite Sam front and center in a Wild West setting, as well as Bugs Bunny riding the bull from Bully for Bugs. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get your hands on some really great design work featuring these beloved characters, so don't wait. Breaking news, Space Jam is coming back to theaters May 20th. I don't know if it will be extended like Speed Racer was, hopefully, but as of right now, we know that there's going to be a tie-in basketball that is a soda holder, as well as a fun little arcade style shoot your popcorn in a hoop setup for a popcorn bucket. This is the first tie-in popcorn bucket for anything Looney Tunes, and it's crazy that it's going to be Space Jam coming ahead of Coyote versus Acme, but here we are. And I am thrilled. I cannot wait to take our daughter to see Space Jam on the big screen and have her mind be blown like mine was at 10 years old. This is such a well-planned event, and I know that they're dropping this information on the day before Bugs Bunny Day, and this episode is dropping on Bugs Bunny Day. So if you're listening on the day this drops, it's Bugs Bunny Day. And you're getting inundated with all of this wonderful news. Yeah, so Space Jam is getting a Dolby re-release on May 20th. Tickets are now available, so get them fast because they are going to sell out. I was clocking some of the theaters near me, and seats are already grayed out. I'm really surprised because the announcement was made just a few hours before recording this. Yeah, I cannot wait to see this. I cannot wait to hear this in a new remaster. And this will most likely be the 4K that was re-released a couple years back when Space Jam: A New Legacy came out. They did a Blu-ray re-release of the classic 1996 film. And here we are getting that specific remaster in the theater. You're getting to watch it with people. Yeah, this is going to go all the way back to 1996 since I had seen it with people. So is this a part of a Lunaissance, if you will, a Looney Tunes Renaissance? Because we have Space Jam celebrating its 30th anniversary. We have Coyote versus Acme being saved and coming out. We have all of this new physical media that we're getting on Blu-ray, thanks to the Warner Archive. This feels like, and on the coattails of all the work that was done on Looney Tunes cartoons and The Day the Earth Blew Up last year, I feel like we're coming around to people being excited about Looney Tunes again, and I'm excited as well. This is something that I've been waiting for, and I didn't know if we were going to ever get to this point, but I feel like a fever. I feel like a fever is coming on around these characters, around these stories. And then I know that the new Warner Brothers Pictures animation studio is wanting to put Looney Tunes forward, especially with having Tweety as their mascot, which I talked briefly about on Instagram. I will do a bigger episode on that once we actually get the video. But knowing that Tweety will introduce those films under that new label is really great. And I think they are planning something big for Looney Tunes 100th. So this could be the ignition. This could be the light to the dynamite that blows the whole thing out of the water and people start rejoicing over Looney Tunes again. But I don't know. Maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch here. You tell me, dear listener. So The Matrix, and another incredible masterstroke of a movie. This was seminal in a lot of people even getting into film from 1999, myself included. And I think that there's so much to do. I was actually thinking about this earlier. And you know how there's those Jurassic Park arcade games? Why did they never make a Matrix arcade game? Like, it lends itself so well to that interactive medium, and they never did that.
I mean, the closest we got to any sort of other mediumship for the Matrix, besides this Cosm experience, is the Animatrix.
Right. We had the Animatrix come out right around the time of Reloaded in 2003, and that was mind-blowing. And I know a lot of anime people love that because, anime fans, I should say, they love that because of the mixed styles. They had different directors who brought different styles, who brought different voices into
it was the blueprint
crafting that
of the anthologies that we've seen in other visions. That's all I'll say and describe it as. I know we don't go here.
It was the blue pill print.
The blue pill print, yes. But such an incredible part of Warner Brothers Animation's history as it began to expand and connect to other parts of their franchises, for sure.
Yeah, and there was also tie-in comics, and there was also the Enter the Matrix video game. Like, they started playing with the different mediums for that, but they just never did an arcade game. I love the Animatrix,
but
though.
We lived the arcade game.
We live it every day.
Well, that too, but like, I mean, at the Cosm, that presentation felt like a game.
Yes, and that was our first time going to the Cosm. And if you don't know what the Cosm is, it is like a Cinerama dome. It is literally a dome that has a screen that circumnavigates half of a circle, and you get the theater projection of the film in the middle, and then additional animated sequences surrounding it. And just being showered in Matrix code was something that was not on my bucket list, but holy crap, I loved it. I loved it. It looked so cool. I was even looking behind us, and there was stuff it was
well,
really
above
cool.
us we saw like the clouds from the poster.
Yes
when we sat.
It felt like we were inside the Matrix poster, the international poster, which has the clouds. And it was just, it was so immersive. I really enjoyed it. And it felt like I was watching a new movie.
No, for sure. And this is the second run of the Matrix at the Cosm. The Cosm is a theater in like that round aspect that is open by SoFi Stadium, the Forum in Inglewood, California. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're in town for like a big game, I think specifically like if you're in town for the Olympics, that's going to be a space to check out. And I really hope Warner Brothers does a lot of stuff with it during that time.
Yes.
Because Space Jam would be so cool in a dome presentation. Because one of the things that like got Jonathan really excited even before The Matrix started was that they were showing us trailers of watching
sporting events. Yeah. And they had hockey, they had football,
basketball,
they had basketball, and they had baseball.
And it feels like you're dropped in.
It feels like you are sitting in, like, if you were playing the video game, but like you were actually at the game. like they put the camera where they usually put the camera in video games for you, like to bat the ball, like become the player. Well, you were like the player, but you were also watching the full like scope of the field and everything happening within that. I was blown away. Oh, also UFC, like boxing as well, and wrestling.
But basketball. That is when the light bulb went off. We were like,
I was like, wait, you can do what? You can do what?
Space Jam.
Space Jam is right there. And if they're just doing Warner Brother properties, which they are currently, it's The Matrix, and then we have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So if they're just pulling from the Warner Brother catalog, why not do the 30th anniversary of Space Jam in this way and celebrate it?
Especially because the Looney Tunes are usually the USA's big mascot for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Globally.
Exactly.
So when they come to LA next year, in like the hub of where all these events are going to be, Space Jam it up.
Exactly. Yep. It sounds perfect on paper, and it would be perfect in my eyeballs. Just please make it happen, Warner Brothers.
Yes. But back to what you were saying, how you felt like you were dropped in that video game perspective, that makes sense as to why you were making that connection between wanting there to be a Matrix arcade game, because
oh yes,
that did feel like you were right there. There was so much happening during that screening. There was even an opt-in for having meals brought to you timed to big moments in the movie where food happens.
Such as when Cypher gets brought a steak and he's eating it and he's like, ignorance is bliss. We actually got a steak that was brought to us.
And a blue pill drink. We had to go for the blue pill drink because Cypher is about the blue pill.
Yeah,
in the
it tasted
film.
better.
It did also taste better than the red one.
And then we got a cookie. We got a chocolate chip cookie when the Oracle brought out cookies.
That was so cool.
That was amazing. The guy next to us was like, wait, how is this happening? Did you plan this? And we were like, oh no, it's part of the menu. You can actually get a taste of the movie as it happens. And he was like, that is amazing. And I agree. I was not expecting the level of, not only the level of integration, but also the quality of food. The quality of food was really, really good.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And also there's one in Dallas. So they're doing this in Dallas and Los Angeles right now with The Matrix.
That's amazing. Yes, thanks to our friends Meredith and Ethan who let us know about the menu before we went in, because I don't think we would have known otherwise.
We would not.
We did, spur of the moment, decide to go and show up to this because I missed it the first round. I think I was pregnant and I couldn't go for that reason, so I didn't get to cover it through work. And I was really bummed out. And then by the time that, like, you know, we were able to go see movies, it was not playing anymore. So as soon as we saw our friends go to this, we were like, we have to go, like, before this is gone.
Yeah, and I think it's going to last another 3 weeks. I checked the calendar and it's still popping up periodically within the next 3 weeks. So again, if you can get out there and check it out, I highly recommend it. It is a really unique way to watch this film. And it's a film that you've watched enough times to where if you don't mind, if you're like not looking at the film and you're watching the renders on the left and the right and the top and the bottom.
The armory scene.
The little details
my gosh.
That they added in. And there is an entire team that did 2D visualizations and animations alongside the film. My favorite part of this was in the lobby scene where Neo and Trinity are taking out everybody and breaking the walls. They actually had animated walls, like pillars that were breaking off due to the gunfire in the movie.
All around you.
All around you.
You've never experienced bullet time like this before.
It was so freaking cool.
And it's so amazing because I know the rest of the franchises that Warner Brothers is doing this with are more family friendly, like Willy Wonka and Harry Potter. But I loved that we got to do this as a date night. This was one of the adventures Ellie did not go on with us. And I think that is like a really good and well worth experience to go with your significant other and really just have fun, especially if you're a movie nerd, because from the drinks, the theming was on point.
Definitely. And they had a really cool photo booth, which was a phone booth. Like you could pretend you were in the Matrix and then take a photo while you're holding the phone and plugging in. It was really cool. Like the whole thing. I really enjoyed it. And I hope they continue to do stuff like this. Because, yeah, I mean, there's a lot they could do. Even whenever I was watching the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, like the Dark Knight would be really cool in this presentation as well. So going from Batman to Superman, we have a new experience called Superman Defenders Unite. The Superman experience over at Warner Brothers Tour, which is in Burbank. It is next to Universal. So if you're in the Valley and you're thinking about going to Fan Fest, maybe swing over to Warner Brothers Studios.
Yes, it's such a great pregame, I would say. If you're a fan of James Gunn's Superman, it is definitely done in the CG animation style of other Warner Brothers Justice League rides, like the one at Six Flags Magic Mountain, where you're seeing a classic version of these characters animated in front of you, but with some touches that do evoke the new era of DC. So Crypto is there, and so is Supergirl, in this sort of immersive space where you are becoming a superhero with the superheroes, and it's amazing. Now, as fans of visual immersive experiences, from theme park immersive to retail space immersive, and we're talking about, The Void, rest in peace, and Sandbox VR, there are so many that have kind of given a taste of going into these worlds through either VR headsets or even just tactile walls. I do really like that this option is beautiful, like floor to ceiling settings of Kent Farm, Metropolis, and even some, Elseworldly sort of spots.
Yeah, and talk about throwing chickens.
Yes, like one of the training modules is you're at the Kent Farm and you're practicing your superhero throws by launching chickens back into their pen because Crypto helped them escape. And Crypto gets in your way. It's adorable. He is the cutest mutt of mayhem. And then it kind of like levels up. You're able to get the costumes on and start to take on parademons and even, a really scary big bad by the name of Darkseid.
Yeah, so it's integrating the new with the classic comic book characters in the CGI world. It's really well integrated, and the mechanism to become Superman is really cool, where they kind of clock your movements and you're able to use Superman's powers to defeat things in your way.
And it's great because you don't have to wear any sort of clunky devices to do it. And you also don't need a VR headset. It's very much like a physical setting for you to walk into. And it's so fun. I think it is such a great addition to the Warner Brothers tour because you can either do it if you're there for the tour or just do it itself on its own. But I think that if you're going to go do the tour and you have, older kids / preteens who need to burn off some energy before you do the tour, because the tour is obviously a lot of like sitting down and getting history, this is what you want to do before you do that so they can burn off that energy. It is a workout. You are using your arms and your hands a lot. So definitely get that in if you're going to go with the family on one of the Warner Brothers tours.
If you have the means, it's definitely worth it as an addition. And if you're doing the tour, you can get the tickets for this separate, but they're at a discounted rate. And if you're just doing it by itself, then they have their own ticket price per person. And then it's ages 5 and up. So yeah, bring your kids, especially the teenagers who want to, be like Superman, which I think is really cool. Not a lot of places allow you to become the characters. And that's really cool. I think you can also customize or pick your own suit.
Yes, that's a lot of fun. I went for black and yellow.
Okay, Batman.
We know my bias here.
But yeah, that should be over at the Warner Brothers lot, and it's going to be there for a while. I don't think that they're going to do a limited run of that. I think it's going to be, as long as the tour is doing well, I think there's going to be a part of it. Speaking of fandoms and living in the worlds that we wanted to be in as kids, Universal is doing something that is extravagant, which is getting you to become a part of the mystery with the Scooby Gang and the Universal Monsters. We got to go to Universal Fan Fest and explore the actual lot where they shot the classic Universal Monster movies and see them walking around, roaming around, living, if you will. They're alive. They're alive and prospering as the villains that they are, which we love. And
or are they?
Or are they? And the villain and the Scooby Gang is right alongside them, doing their best to solve this mystery, and we're there to help them. We're there to put together the clues and come up with the culprit of who is the Phantom Director in a very unique and brand new storyline that Universal has never done before. And it's a really cool interactive way to live in the world of Scooby-Doo. I've always wanted to be a part of a mystery like that, and now getting to do that in real life, it's kind of surreal, but I'm so glad it's happening for others and for myself selfishly, and we brought our daughter to this because she loves Scooby-Doo. So we weren't going to deny her that, but yeah, we both have been fans of Warner Brothers collaborations with Universal Studios over the years. I grew up with the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review. That experience is so formative to my love for not just theme parks, but like villains and dark comedy. And there's also obviously there's been the Flintstones, which Hanna-Barbera had like a whole land for a while at the theme parks at Universal where you could go to Bedrock, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, there's been a lot of integration between Warner Brothers and Universal to come together to bring that fan experience, but never on a scope like this, where you're actually walking through mysteries and, getting to interact with Shaggy as it smells like food. they had him right next to the food stand. It smelled so good. It smelled so good. Universal Fan Fest nights really goes big with creating a different version of what you're kind of used to at Halloween Horror Nights, but removing the gore and removing the upright horror. I was surprised that they decided to include the Universal Monsters during Fan Fest nights, because I was like, well, they're probably just relegated to HHN. But no, like this concept of having a family-friendly, spooky good time on the back lot was amazing. And our daughter loved it. We loved it. It just, from the moment you hop on the tram, it's a whole new, mysteries afoot, and there's going to be jinkies and everything. Jinkies, Sabina. What was your favorite part of the experience, and which monster interaction was your favorite? And why was it Dracula?
Hello, my little appetizer. So lovely to see.
Listen, I like bats. Bats are amazing.
You don't say.
I was wearing bat pants on this day because I got to do both the Superman and Fan Fest nights on the same day, which was great. But yes, Dracula was my favorite interaction. But honestly, what I was looking forward to the most for this event was that I was excited to see Ellie, our daughter, do a little bit more in the sense that one of her earliest, I mean, I don't think it's a memory because I don't think she'll remember at all, but one of our core memories as parents was when she was a baby. I mean, just to like put it out there, we are definitely the sort of parents who, you know, obviously there are parents out there who are like, why do you take your kids to certain things? You're not going to remember. We're the sort of parents that are like, but we will. And one of the biggest memories that Jonathan and I have was the year that we went to Epic Universe. We also went to Volcano Bay for a Volcano Bay nighttime sort of immersive experience, which included Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Inc.
Yeah, so the Mystery Inc. alongside Scooby-Doo were there to solve a mystery on the beach that goes into the wave pool at Volcano Bay, and you got to interact with the Scooby Gang there and take photos and watch them solve the mystery. It was a little bit less interactive in that respect, but you got to see them in a different light because it was part of a party going on, and you got the dance music, you got, you know, people in beach attire. It's really fun vibes.
The interactions were easier to come across, I would say.
Okay,
at Volcano
yeah.
Bay, but it was definitely,
because
I would kind
right
of say
next
it
to
felt
you.
like a little bit of a testing ground.
Oh, definitely.
Because we were like, oh, this is like such a little unique thing to happen at a like after dark beach party sort of atmosphere.
Yeah.
The monster in this scenario was Ghost Clown. So we got to see Ghost Clown wandering around and sneaking through different water rides. I mean, not on them, but like as you were going to different water rides, you could see Ghost Clown just like, you know, behind the bush and
in a fantastic costume, by the way.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that mask was so cool. And the whole like suit and everything. I'm really bummed we didn't get a photo with Ghost Clown.
Same.
But we did get photos of Ellie with Scooby-Doo and Daphne and Fred and Velma. And so that's what made me really excited was she loved that night. We loved the ways that the characters interacted with her. It was her first sort of spooky little experience as Tiny Graves. So it was
and I would say she remembers it because we have a blow mold of a Christmas ornament that is Scooby-Doo, and she always looks at it and I feel like she remembers him.
Yeah, I think that was like her first big exposure to Scooby-Doo was through that experience. And so every time we've gone to Universal Studios since then, through different like work events that I've done, Scooby-Doo is like the stop we have to make and meet Scooby.
Exactly. And this was a really great evolution of that idea. And you got the different sections where they paired up the Universal monsters alongside the Scooby-Doo icons, and they were helping you by feeding you clues, and you got a little preamble whenever you first got there. But I gotta say, like, the whole immersive aspect by presenting the music and giving you the classic 60s vibe as you get to the tram, as you board and go on this adventure, it just was like all around you. You couldn't escape it. Like you really felt like you were a part of a Scooby-Doo episode, and that was really cool. And then they had these testimonials.
The Scooby-Doo running music with your little toddler running across literally Little Europe where they shot the Universal Monsters movie was everything.
Yes, and then they had testimonials by the culprits who you have, the suspects, and you have to like figure out who actually is the Phantom Director. I just think the whole outline of everything congealed really well. I just wish that there was a bit more of the interactions that we got to see of like Dracula and Daphne and like them interacting before the big reveal. Because there's
just a lot going on.
There is a lot going on, and there's a lot of people walking around, and they could have easily got lost in the crowd.
I would say definitely for FanFest nights, it's one of those events that each fandom will take up the entire time you're there, even though it's all of the fandoms happening at the same time, because they do have Jurassic Park, they have Sailor Moon, they have One Piece, they have all the Yoshis at Super Nintendo World. And each one of these things, like, if you really have a love and passion for one of these fandoms, you will want to come back and spend each night dedicated to each fandom's like buffet of offerings, because that's sort of what happened with us in Scooby-Doo, in the sense that, and the Universal Monsters. So for me, this was really challenging because every time that the Universal Monsters would have their own sort of like runway fashion moment, is what I can describe it as, at the Court of Miracles. I was just like, I completely forgot about the mystery and was like, what are the monsters doing? They're recreating their iconic stances.
It's just vibes.
It is just vibes of the Universal Monsters. That is like my only qualm, is that unless the Universal Monsters went into the specific zones where the Scoobies were and interacted with them to help with clues, they had their own sort of party monster mash vibe that was really distracting. I don't know if it was on purpose to throw us off.
We also recommend pre-gaming by going to Voodoo Donuts if you're able to, and get some of the Scooby-Doo inspired offerings there. Those were really great to kind of get the tone set for becoming a character in a cartoon mystery.
Oh, for sure. I mean, again, like going to... Sorry, I just keep wanting to talk about the Universal Monsters, but I agree with you. The food offerings were really great. Definitely try the donuts beforehand at Voodoo Donuts. Although there are awesome Scooby snacks that come in these really great boxes.
Oh yes, one of them tastes like a giant teddygram. The vanilla cinnamon teddygrams. It tastes like a giant one of those. And that's the Scooby-Doo like dog tag looking one, and then the other one has a kind of like a darker chocolate paw print, which I thought was also tasty, and they complement each other.
Oh, definitely. Yes, I can't wait to have more of those because we need to go back. The mystery was not solved by us because we were overwhelmed with so much going on.
It was a bit overwhelming, and there were some people saying that the mystery was a little bit hard just to follow because there are so many components to it. Mm-hmm. But one of the cool things is that the villain of the night changes every day. So...
That's amazing.
If you go on Saturday and you have an experience and it ends up being this person, well, they're not going to be the villain the next day. And so I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to see who we get the next time we go. But yeah, like this was such a well-orchestrated event and a really great part for FanFest. I mean, what other what other fandoms would you want to live in? Because I think Scooby-Doo lends itself so well to Universal, so well to the Universal backlot with the monsters. I can't think of a better pairing that I would ever want to. I just want this to come back every year. Like, they've hit
definitely.
it. Like they found it, and they need to keep just doing this, but improve it in little areas.
To cite a journalist who wrote for Gizmodo and reviewed the Volcano Bay version of it, you know, that's me. But I did pitch in that article. I was like, oh, wow, like seeing, you know, the Scooby Gang at this beach setting versus Ghost Clown makes me wonder if they'd ever consider doing the Scooby Gang versus the Universal Monsters. And they came to me on my coast, and it was amazing.
It was. It truly was. And we have a little bit of audio that we're going to play for you right now, just for fun.
Thanks to all of you, we have what we need to solve this mystery.
wait to see how this movie turns out.
And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids and your mystery-solving guests.
And now something that was unknown to me as we got there. Now, Amblin has been a big part of our childhoods. I grew up with it. Obviously, it was integrated a lot into my childhood through Tiny Toons. And we brought our Tiny Toon to this event. We go downstairs.
It's cold as ice because the winds happened.
It's cold as fossils.
Yes.
And we go downstairs and see a giant sign for Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Thank you very much.
And I immediately knew I had to put the blanket that I had gotten our daughter on her, which is a costume blanket they have at Universal Studios of a Dilophosaurus.
Yes,
and
the
I was
spitter
like,
dinosaur.
We have to put this on her, and we have to go through the gate and this experience with her in her little stroller.
You're greeted by John Hammond, who welcomes you to Jurassic Park. Perfect. And then you get to go see Ian Malcolm.
Dinosaur. That's the cutest dinosaur I've ever seen. Oh, you look tired too.
And then there's a Nedry walking around, and Nedry was perfect for our little Dilophosaurus to taunt.
I'm not scared of any dinosaur. It's okay. I can see a little matador. Aha!
And it led to some really fun interactions, which you can find on our social media at This Means Podcast. And it was just a really mind-blowing experience because I never thought I would see like a full-scale like T-Rex and Spinosaurus there. Ironically, our daughter is named after Ellie Sattler, and so having her in the Jurassic Park area was really cool. Unfortunately, there was not a character of Ellie Sattler walking around.
Next time.
Missed opportunity.
We need Ellie and Alan.
Yeah, and I was like, you have a Jurassic Park area, but you don't have Alan Grant? What is happening?
They asked him 3 times and he said no.
Yeah, I heard. But this was honestly a highlight for me as well. Even though it was kind of off the beaten path of everything else, I was so glad that this was here because it was very unexpected. It was very in theme. You have John Williams' score blasting in every section of this. And I was so enthralled by the Velociraptor show and everything going on in the back. I thought this was a really great addition to FanFest nights, and one that was unexpected because it's not on the pamphlet that you get of all the
Or it wasn't
FanFest
a part of like
IPs.
the initial, or it wasn't a part of the initial announcements.
Yeah, I missed it entirely. And Sabina was like, I'm glad you didn't know.
I know. I did see that they kind of like had soft opened the area for theme park guests during the day. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. And then just take Jonathan over there.
Yeah, my jaw was on the ground.
Yes, it was
Daffy
like
Duck.
cartoon jaw on the ground.
Yeah. I was very much enthused and pleased by this experience.
And so is our daughter. And I think that's one of the big reasons why I love Universal Fan Fest nights is because as parents who have a 20-month-old, she hasn't yet quite reached the height requirement on the rides at Universal, which because of the way certain attraction vehicles are made, they need to like individually be able to like, sit on their own and whatnot. Like she's, I think, about to finally reach the height requirement for Secret Life of the Pets. And for FanFest nights, so much of it is you're just immersed in the worlds without needing to go through an attraction. And from Jurassic to Scooby-Doo, especially Scooby-Doo, where Ellie was just, her mind was blown at seeing Scooby like hanging out with all his friends and seeing Daphne and the bride, which she's also met the Bride of Frankenstein multiple times because she's our daughter. And every time she meets them, it's like the first time for me, okay? And I know the next time will be her core memory. I would just want to make every time she meets them and the Scooby Gang as special as possible. So when she remembers the time she met them for the 20th time, it'll be like the first time she remembers them from. I don't know. But just having her be able to run around now that she can walk and like meander to the perfectly scored Scooby-Doo running music is so much fun. if you like carry your kid to the back lot, you know, and have them strapped on you, or if they can run around, it's such a great space for them to run around with them, having your hand in theirs, because they obviously can't run too far because they might follow a monster home. Nope, that sounded terrible. That sounded somehow worse than what I was trying to backpedal from.
It's okay. We understand what you meant.
They also have like special meet and greets on the back lot where certain monsters will appear in secret interactive situations. And for our friends, Stephanie Strange and Carl Wing, they got to have an interaction with the Invisible Man that was like hidden behind Wardrobe and Daphne. And I was so like excited for them to be a part of that little secret side quest that certain guests will be able to do.
Yeah, I love that they integrated that, but also the thematics are just palpable from the beginning of getting on the tram to the end. And this entire experience was one I'll never forget, and I can't wait to go back. And I really do want to also have that experience with the Invisible Man. I hope we can sneak back there as well. But even if
there's so much other stuff we want to do with Ellie there. There's One Piece. She got to meet Serena from Sailor Moon, which is really cool. They had a whole interaction.
Yeah, and she watched the video. She was in the theater to see the video, and that was really cool as well.
And hopefully she'll get to meet the Yoshis. We didn't get to do that with her. Yeah. And I think she'd like to meet the Rainbow Yoshis for sure. And yeah, like we said, like, you know, as animation fans, as theme park fans, we love this experience. And we think whether or not you have kids, it's such a unique buffet of awesome.
Yeah.
And if you do have kids, you're able to like go through different things with them and literally pass the torch down of like fandom love amongst generations. Like it's so great.
And we want to thank Universal for inviting the podcast out to become a part of the mystery alongside the Scooby Gang. This was just amazing, and we're very thankful for that experience. So Sabina, where can people find you online?
People can find me online at Live Like the Movies. I'm currently writing at Nerdist and the Nerds of Color, and you know, just up to my usual theme parking on the social media with you, with Ellie, and hopefully other places soon.
And you can follow us over at This Means Podcast for everything happening in the Looniverse. And keep it right here because we have more Coyote vs. Acme coverage coming your way. Keep it loony.
And as always, that ain't all, folks.